Hello, everybody, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about something that the whole world is really talking about, which is India's stunning victory at the Women's World Cup. And if we look at the kind of immediate impact that this victory has had on Indian society, we can assert that it is not just about it's not just a turning point in women's cricket only, or a turning point in women's sport, or even a turning point with a larger perspective on Indian sports, but we can say that it is, let's say, the beginning of a turning point in the prevalent Indian society today. And what we witnessed was essentially this this magnificent team of young ladies who went and overcame all the social odds and prejudices and taboos that was thrown along their path, and they kind of ignored the chauvinistic jibes and the sneers that were thrown at them, and they went ahead and created history, not just on the pitch, but outside it. So what we're seeing is essentially the way the nation kind of got up to receive them, perhaps maybe an indication of a new social perspective that this country was waiting to embrace, and these champions just acted as a catalyst for that. And what we have today is we're going to have a discussion on not just the impact of this sport, but not just the impact of this historic win, but what took it so long, where are we heading from here, and what do we need to do to get to that place where we want to go. And we have the right people to have this conversation with. We have with us the very well-known sports presenter, Riddhima Pathak, veteran journalist and author, Jyotsna Mohan. Welcome, Riddhima. Welcome, Jyotsna. So shall we start this conversation?
Yes, please.
So let's talk about the impact of this victory, what it means for Indian sport and Indian society in its totality, not just Indian women's cricket. Riddhima, how about you?
The fact that you very rightly mentioned that this particular win is acting as a catalyst for a voice in the Indian society that was missing. I won't say it was missing, it was simmering. It was simmering for a long time, and now it has come out in the open and said that, now that we have justified our position, won something for the country, and we've come back as a whole, I think women will sort of take on the stage even more boldly. I think even today, even in 2025, many women, including me, at times has been a little cautious about my words in a male-dominated space. I think after this win, we won't care so much. We would do what we are required to do without caring to handling egos. I think that is what this win has been able to do for us. Jyotsna.
I'm actually a little bit more cautious than this. My initial euphoria is stamped down a little bit, unfortunately, because I've written this great piece, and I hope that all of that filters down. But it's something. I mean, my first question is, why did the BCCI not have a parade for these women? Why was there no victory parade? I mean, you have a victory parade, unfortunate as it was, even for RCB and IPL, and you do not have it for world champions. I mean, is this in a way saying humne apna kaam kar diya hai abhi, is that tokenism already coming out? And that to me is a bit unfortunate, because these women deserve every bit of the accolades and the attention and the limelight. And why are we not putting them on top of this convoy and taking them perhaps to the villages that they come from? Okay, I know that they've met the Prime Minister, and that is a big message that is going down to the villages. But like I said, it's transformative. in the sense that this was, like you said, Ridhima, it's been a long time coming, and they've been chipping away, to reach where they have today, and I think it's fantastic for Indian sport. It's fantastic for women in sport. It is fantastic for women per se that this win has come. But I think there's a lot of work still to be done.
There's a lot of work to be done, for sure, 100%. And the fact that you mentioned about the victory parade, I am on your side. But I think the question that was thrown at us, or the dialogue that the gentleman started, was the fact that this victory is not just for sports, but it has a ripple effect on the Indian society getting a new perspective. And I'll put my case in point here is because I just saw a reel that Ravi Chandran Ashwin made after the women winning the World Cup. And he said that at many times I have said something which has come out of conditioning, and it is high time we change that conditioning. For Ravi Chandran Ashwin to mention that, to quote the Indian women, the fact that they are giving importance to the seniors who've come in and done the groundwork for them to sort of take that pedestal and then, use it as a trampoline to spring up and win us the World Cup. That gesture somewhere has created this impact even on men, not just in cricket, but overall in the society, that how women support women exactly when they're extremely down under pressure. And the fact that Ravi Chandran Ashwin says that it's high time we change the conditioning, it will have a lot of effect on the men that watch him, because many men follow him. He's quite an idol to the men in this country. So I thought the fact that he mentioned that, the conditioning needs to be changed, मुझे ऐसा लगा चलो अब जाके इनको समझ में आ रहा है.
No, I think I think conditioning is a huge part of Indian sport. I always say that the men go out, they play a sport,
No,
and
the thing is, we're not talking about Indian sport. We're talking about Indian society.
so
It's
I'm
not
coming to
about
that.
sport.
No, I'm coming.
Yeah.
And a player does not do well. So a male athlete, he's not going to. He's had a bad day. Okay, the society or the trolls who are part of this society now, and an intrinsic part of it, are going to turn around and just say, okay, it's been a bad day, and you're going to trash his. It was just a duck, and all of that, and move on. But for the women, it's that gaze that is a burden. I mean, you have to perform. I mean, the kind of trolling that happened when they had their bad days, it's not just, oh, you're having a bad day, but it is like, do you deserve the funds that you're getting? Go back to the kitchen. Go back to doing what women do. Do you ever turn around and ask a man if if Rohit Sharma ever had a bad day? Did we ever question, do you deserve the money that has been invested in you? We will continue to do it. The conditioning of a society we are living in, and unfortunately, the times are such that misogyny has only increased, and I think that gaze is going to put tremendous pressure, because it's a burden on these women. Women athletes come with a burden in our country, and it is a burden not just to come out of the society that they are in, come out of the little villages that they are in, because the reality is also that most of our women athletes come from the hinterland. They come from rural families where the hunger is much more. The drive is much more than what you find in our towns and cities at the moment. Also, perhaps because our towns and cities, big cities, know the kind of infrastructure and are not ready to get into that, dilapidated rings or wrestling akharas to send their children. And this is where our athletes are coming from, because at that level in rural India, there is still a drive. This is what there is. There is acceptance of the facilities and the will to go all out. But unfortunately, this is what they have to fight against. And that male gaze will continue to question the women. We as women think it's a huge victory. And I think this is a victory in the same stance as a Mary Kom or a Mirabai or, all these individual athletes. This is collective women, most of them coming from across small tier 2 towns in the country, are going to inspire a lot of women to come out, a lot of families to allow the women to come out. But they are going to continue to have to keep that burden going for the rest of these women, because they are going to be questioned at every step, at every loss. They are going to continue to be questioned. That is my assessment.
That's not just only true for women, actually. In general, athletes get questioned a lot for if they are not performing. If you take a look at our Olympians also, I was doing the 2024 Paris Olympics with Lakshya Sen coming fourth and the number of medals that we got versus the number of fourth positions that we had. The questioning was there. In
No, the
fact,
questioning was
if
rightfully there. The questioning
yeah,
is
questioning was
rightfully
there.
there. But I'm saying there's a difference in the questioning. The difference in the questioning is that you're going to ask Lakshya Sen, you're still going to ask Lakshya Sen that, has he not lived up to the reputation or the kind of, the beginning that he's had. But the women, you're going to say, just go back to doing what you don't deserve the money. And that's a different level of questioning that the women are subjected to versus the men. And I mean, no, go ahead.
No, please finish. Yeah.
No, and I'm hoping that things change with that questioning. But even within this tournament, you've seen that same level of questioning that has happened to the women. My hope is, though, that people like, PV Sindhu or badminton, I actually don't take in the same level as I take a lot of other Olympic sports in the countries, because in a sense that Gopi Chand kind of took it away, made it his own, and got badminton and athletes a little bit separate from the kind of other Olympic sports in the country that are still struggling for funds, still struggling for better facilities, better amenities, better recognition. Badminton kind of eventually did get recognition in the country. So I look at those athletes a little bit differently. Then I would look at others who are still trying to get into, say, judo or, archery or these other Olympic sports. But I do hope that this kind of gives a fillip to Olympic sports in the country as well, to say that, if a bunch of these women coming from tier 2 town can take women cricket out, I hope that kind of gives the attention that, yes, we have a lot of talent. Majority of our talent actually resides in our tier 2 towns and cities. And I think it is time that a lot of more corporates come in to get going into these areas for our Olympics, because we have that 4 saal mein, we come to like literally a month before Olympics, all the hype begins, and then we expect, we don't get it, we go, we abuse, and that's our Olympic cycle. But unfortunately, the story is much longer, isn't it?
While it is in some parts of the country, I feel that in this debate that was happening and the questioning that was on women, I think now we're fighting for a much more standard cause, and we're not stuck right there. Is because India as a country and corporates and conglomerates have realized that women are no longer a social commodity; they are a multi-million-dollar business. That's the reason why there is a lot of investment that was made in the WPL, and they're very smart when they make that kind of investment, because they've done their R&D as to what is the progress of women's cricket, and the result is here right now. And that's the reason why the return on their investment in this WPL will be fantastic, because a Jemima Rodriguez is a star, a Deepti Sharma is a star, a Smriti Manna is an even bigger star, Harmanpreet Kaur is the first Indian woman captain to win us some World Cups. Her name is etched in the history books. So I feel like India was on that path on fast track. Now it is even faster. Even if you just talk about it in terms of business sense, I would say any conglomerate who's looking at this, any corporate who's looking at this, they already have realized what you're saying. The thing is, in fact, now they're fighting for a pole position is because it's a good and a great investment right now to invest in women's sports. Actually, I feel that while sports, especially in terms of women, is kind of taken care of, because in the Olympics also, I've done 2021, 2024, in the last 4 years, even in 2021, the narrative was our medal prospects are more women than men. So the kind of money, the tops athlete for women was already being invested by the corporates and the government. That's the reason why BCCI came up with the gender pay parity. The fight happened, the WPL happened, World Cup happened, and now the progress is going to be really, really strong. What this sport, this win has been able to do is that people who are not in the system to realize how the system is already on fast track, it has changed the narrative about women in those parts. For example, if someone who's not following women's sport and what the government is already doing for women's sports, the narrative in those households will change. Say a narrative in a tier 2 city was the fact that, as a woman, don't go and play sport because you have better things to do. If the narrative was that the women in sports have no future, that narrative in those households has changed. I feel sports and women and the system was already in place and in fast track. So I'm very happy with the fact that the ripple effect of this is in tier 2, tier 3 cities where parents will be like, मेरी बेटी भी इंडिया के जर्सी में जाके वर्ल्ड कप जीतेगी. That is the bigger effect rather than the effect in women's sports, because वो तो anyway हो रहा था. वो messaging इतनी clearly पूरे country और पूरे देश में जा नहीं रही थी मेरे ख्याल से.
You know, I would say that the impact is immense. The impact is immense in homes where you know, education is considered, either it's आप educate हुए और आगे बढ़े, there's no money or there's no future in sports, or in homes where, you know, you would rather that the woman come and help you, and you know, there are not enough resources and you don't want to spend that kind of money and put money into women and say कि आप जाके बाहर खेलिए. So I think for that, this win is immense in convincing families that yes, there is a future. Yes, you can allow your girls to go out and play cricket. That there is the kind of money that they are getting. Yes, everyone is seen that the cash awards have been announced, the amount of, you know, the money that has been announced, and more is to come. So I think everyone has seen and will definitely get influenced to move out, or for families to allow their children to come out and play now. And I think that for me is a huge win for women in the country. And I just want to see it translate further from the obvious. I mean, BCCI is still running women's cricket. I want to see that there was a report that says of all of the sum total of advertising revenues in the country in the last few years, only 5% has been spent on women athletes. So I want to, my point is, I hope that this win, that there are two aspects to it. One is how it filters down in our villages, in our cities, across the country, into inspiring other women to, you know, pick up the bat and come out, or pick up another sport and say, yes, we have a future. And no, we don't want to focus only on education. We want to come out and wear the Indian jersey. We want to wrap the tricolor around us. I think that's one aspect of it. The second aspect where I continue to say I'm a bit wary is that I want to say that I hope at some point, yes, the money has been put in. Yes, there is gender parity in what the women earn. Yes, there's WPL. But beyond that, is the BCCI going to go beyond that, give them their own governing body? Is the BCCI going to say, oh, you know, there's a sense then that certain things remain optics. And I hope that these women have been able to push out and say that, yes, it is time for them to be run as professionally as the male athletes do in the country. And that is what I want to watch for the sport. For society, it's undeniable the impact that this is going to have, that this has had, you know, and the fact that we all came together in a very fractured country to sit down that evening and watch this, I think has been a win-win for everybody to say, okay, if nothing else, you know, brings us together anymore, at least women's cricket for one evening got us all together onto that same platform and that same level. So I think that is undeniable. And I hope that this, like I say, I hope this filters down. Even a woman just does not have to play cricket. I hope that a lot more women also take out, because unfortunately the stepchild of this country continues to be Olympic sports. So there's a whole lot of takeaways from it. I am, as I said right at the beginning, optimistic, but I'm also cautious, and I continue to, you know, remain in that. But I hope that, you know, this is all for the good.
What you're hoping for will happen anyway. And there are two reasons for it. एक तो जो आप गवर्निंग बॉडी बोल रही है वो ऑलरेडी उसमें पोटेंशियल देखती है, तो वो तो है ही है. दूसरी ये है कि जो हमारी लड़कियां हैं ना, वो अबला नारी नहीं, क्रांतिकारी हैं. आई हैव मेट देम ऑन अ पर्सनल लेवल. इनको अपना हक मांगना नहीं, लेना भी आता है. So this is a different generation of women that we are talking about, जिनको अपना हक चाहिए तो चाहिए. Because I was doing one conference with these girls just before the World Cup. And Mr. Lokesh Nara was there in Andhra Pradesh, and he was actually sitting down and asking these girls, what can we do better for women to be educated and women to come into sports? None of these girls shied away from telling exactly what is needed. So much so that one of the girls stood up, a very big name stood up and said कि हम अभी विशाखापट्टनम से आ रहे हैं प्रैक्टिस करके, और वहाँ पे एक भी स्टैंड डेडिकेटेड नहीं है to a women cricketer. Before the World Cup started, there was a stand that was dedicated to Mithali Raj. तो ये जो आप बोल रहे हैं कि इसके ऊपर अटेंशन आना चाहिए, अटेंशन एक्चुअली बहुत जोरों से आ रहा है. द थिंग इज कि आपको मांगना आता है कि नहीं, और आई थिंक हम लड़कियों को मांगना आ गया है.
Look, it's
No, go ahead, Josna, please.
no. It also it Mangna Agya is one thing, Krantikari is one thing, and I think these are great words, Ridhima. But unfortunately, you also have a case of Jemima, right? You've also got the case of how a patriarchal society pushed back against an athlete, and continues to do. I mean, she's spoken about playing under pressure. She's spoken about playing under immense mental health duress, anxiety, and that is also the other reality. And that continues to be my voice of caution, that in this society, to achieve this generation, it's not just the athletes, this generation of women is very different. Our generation, the next generation of children is even tougher. They demand things, whether it is in sports or whether it is outside. There's a very different take to what they expect belongs to them. And I sense that's what you're trying to say. But the reality is also that something like Jemima happened, and it should not have happened. And yet and if you're going to say that this is the only time that this has happened, I don't believe it. So I will say that yes, that things are happening, but there's lots more that still needs to happen. And for one, I think firstly, it has to start from respecting the women. It has to start from not just saying that the women have won. I mean, there was a troll who was abusing Jemima, saying, "Go back, you don't deserve to play," and all of that, and then goes on to celebrate the same girl going out to hit a century. And that to me is the hypocrisy that they will continue to handle and will have to handle every step of the way. Was this 1983? I would think so, but yet not 1983, because there's a lot more that is dependent on this win than that win. For the women, I say they come from a different set of challenges to take themselves and their sport to a different level. There changes, Ridhima, you've been saying, and I'm very glad to hear that those changes are already in motion, in process. But there is just that path is just very different for women, and that's all that is.
Ridhima pointed out that there's a lot of changes, progressive changes made about by the government, and we are seeing a lot of pay parity. But I just want to point out something here, that this kind of disparagement that women athletes face in India it's all over the world. It's a historical thing. I mean, we look at
WNBA, case in point, WNBA athletes had made a sorry, go on.
Absolutely. And also we look at even sports that are not so much in the purview of not in the purview of spectator sports. We look at chess. We see, it's not just spectators who are perpetuating this kind of mindset. We look at top athletes and legends of the sport who are also kind of sneering at women playing their game. In the sense, we see Kasparov once saying that he doesn't think any woman chess player can ever beat him, and then out pops Judith Polgar and smashes him. And then we see women, Bobby Riggs saying that in 1973, the famous clash of the Battle of the Sexes, where Billie Jean King trounces him. And then later, again, we see Jimmy Connors just about, beating Navratilova in 1992 in the second Battle of the Sexes. We see so many cases where women have been, they've been trying to put them down, but somehow they've been coming up and pushing back and getting them to change their point of view, or at least admitting that they're wrong. So I also feel that maybe this particular win will bring about that kind of a change in the mindset. Because, Ridhima, I don't think that just government push is very important. They need the money, they need the sponsorship, but they also need people to sit and watch the games. They need people to, the mindset should change. I'm not going to watch a women's football. I'm not going to watch women's boxing. I mean, that's not even a sport. So that kind of a mindset should change. And perhaps this kind of victory, repeatedly may perhaps bring about that change, not just in India, but across the world? What do you say?
I'm completely with you. In fact, when you started the topic, I thought this is where we are headed. So this is what I'm trying to point out. The fact that when you talk about, investment and then the victory lap didn't happen and all of that, वो तो आप एक साइड रख दो. ठीक है, चलिए वो बात है, एक चर्चा करने वाली बात है. But the fact that there will be a shift in the mindset, the fact that, people are talking about, yeah, conditioning needs to change. And this is not women saying this. These are men saying this. My watchman the other day was actually watching women's cricket, the final, and game was delayed because of rain. He was still on Jio Hotstar watching the match. Ki kab shuru hoga. In fact, WPL should be a very big yardstick on this particular mindset that you're talking about, is because WPL in the last couple of seasons, if you see, the audience is actually men, not women. Now, if that audience is not just men but also women, तो वो भी एक shift है mindset का कि women have actually become intrigued in watching women's sport. ये एक बहुत बड़ा gap है. Men are watching women's sport. The conditioning is different around women, which I agree that conditioning is changing. There is a bit of a change that has been, and like you mentioned, this particular win is a catalyst for that change. But more importantly, our mindset around women should also change. Ki yaar, if we are talking about equality, if we want justice, you must come out and support other women who are representing the country at such high level, and they need your support. वो भी एक mindset change होगा. So I'm completely with you on it.
I want to just add that I absolutely agree with Ridhima. In my mind, also WPL is like the yardstick, the immediate yardstick in a sense, to gauge the kind of ripple effect that this is going to have. And I'm just hoping that this is going to bring out more people into the stadiums, bring out more people in pursuit of that sport, the kind of impact that Ridhima is speaking about. More men. I think that is where change is going to begin.
What I'm saying is that in the last 40 years, there has been a major change, but this win is perhaps it's been a very slow change. 40 years for a change to come about is extremely slow, and it's not that there's been any dearth of women icons in sports either. I mean, from PT Usha to Deepa Kormokar to the badminton players. I mean, they are. I mean, even though you'd like to separate them from the rest of the struggles because of of one man's efforts, but still it's been a struggle, and in spite of that, it's still taken 40 years for something like this to happen. So for something like the Indian team getting superstar status. Now, how far do you think that this is the news of the day, or how far do you think this is going to be a more lasting impact, and what needs to be done to prevent it from being the news of the day?
No, I don't think it's the news of the day. I think I definitely think that there is an impact, and that impact is in I always I'm just going to go back. So I've played badminton at the state level, and my elder one tried. She played for a bit, and when I used to take her for coaching, I always pointed out to her. I said, your drive is not a patch on the drive of these little kids who've also come from little villages with short haircuts, trying to blend in, whether as a boy half the time, just with the determination that we just want to play. And I think for this is where it's going to filter down in a big way. It is in these households where girls don't want to come out all fancy pretty. They just want to win. They just want to achieve. They just want to aspire. I think for them this is the biggest fillip, and I always say that this is where our biggest champions come from. You can have one Abhinav Bindra, and for every one of that, you're going to have another 20 that are coming from our tier 2 towns. And I think for them, this is the biggest win. I hope that it translates into better facilities in these little towns and villages. And I think that's very, very important, whether they are going to get, those ground facilities, and how this is going to transform into giving it's at the startup level better facilities for these children who want to come out and play, who want to come out and pick up the bat, who want to come out and pick up any sport, and whether we can give them more facilities and safer facilities to come out and to aspire, so that more and more families say it's okay, let our girls go out and play. As an aside, I just want to add that this is a big fillip also for the state of Punjab, a state that is traditionally very sport oriented. We've always taken out the best of athletes from the state. We lost our way somewhere in the middle, and to firstly get Shubman Gill from there. Now we've got Harmanpreet, to come out as a Punjabi to lead this team. I think this is a big message also going out to the state, to the society that is struggling in the state, to a state that is struggling with its drug menace, where, we've lost the kind of youth who used to pick up the hockey sticks and to pick up every sport that they could, who were sitting in corners, not doing anything. I think this is a big message to that state as well, and to the young, both men and women in that state, to say, okay, get out of that fog that has enveloped us, which is not taking us anywhere, and see, yes, that it's yesterday once more for that state as well. So I think, as an aside from that, I just wanted to point that out, that this is a big one for the state of Punjab as well.
We've had our share of iconic women athletes and champions, and it's still taken us 40 years to reach this particular. They've also had their moment of big front page news spread. So what I was asking was that, do you think that this was another news of the day thing, or is this more permanent? And Jyotsna was hoping that it's more permanent, and we were discussing how to go about making it not just the news of the day thing, and making it to have a longer lasting impact. So she said that perhaps more focus on the districts and in the hinterland, from where many of the hungry athletes are coming from, hungry for victory, for glory, for achievement rather. So what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I think it's more prominent than temporary, or it's just flash in the pan kind of victory. Not at all. I think it's permanent. It was a long time coming. Well, I agree with Jyotsna, but I feel that not just the mindset around the society or around women's sports or sports has changed, but within athletes also, within Indian women cricketers, because there is a mindset sometimes that comes in when you're not winning too much कि हम semi-finals तक पहुंच रहे हैं, हम खेलने के लिए खेल रहे हैं, but the moment there is a trophy, अब आप जीतने के लिए खेल रहे हैं. So that mindset कि आप जीतने के लिए आए हैं, आप ऑस्ट्रेलिया के साथ जीतने आए, आप एक क्लोज मैच या क्लोज कंपटीशन देने नहीं आए, आप जीत सकते हैं ऑस्ट्रेलियन टीम के अगेंस्ट in a semi-final, where Australia is known for an attitude. In fact, Australia women's team is considered one of the best women teams across sports. ऐसे टीम के अगेंस्ट सेमीफाइनल्स जैसे लेवल पर इतने हाई प्रेशर गेम में जीत के जब आप आगे बढ़ते हैं, आई थिंक द मैसेजिंग amongst the youngsters goes like, now we're here to win. So I think that mindset change will be there, and that's the reason why I feel that this is more prominent.
So we've had close encounters with the previous World Cup glory too, in 2017, and I think in 2005 also we reached the finals. So, but this time we had a rocky start. There was, we lost in 3 consecutive matches, but somehow something, the final puzzle of the jigsaw fitted. And so what do you think makes that sudden change, that thing to fit? I mean, you partially answered it, Ridhima, when you said that, when you can beat a team like Australia, you think that the trophy is, within your grasp, but that was within the grasp previously too. So what was the difference this time with the players, with the whole thing?
I think this was the will and the determination of these girls to say, okay, this is our time, and to grasp it. And I think that's the difference between just there and grasping history, isn't it? Seizing the moment in a sense. And I think they seized the best they could. I think it's a comeback for the time. This is like a big comeback story, and I actually think they just seized the moment, and I think they went all out. That there was, as Rhythm has been saying, there is immense belief in the team to play this out and to beat Australia. I think now gives them the kind of impetus to think that, okay, yes, we are now world beaters, and you start now. The pedestal has risen for them, I think, in their minds. And I just hope that I continue to be that voice of caution. I hope that they get access to good mental health experts, because I think that's the one thing that sport continues to need. I think that has to go alongside any success story. And I think the bigger the success, the more the need to have that kind of access as you go into this world, because now the pressure on the women cricketers is going to be immense, because again, we are those billion people who will now expect them to continue to win, and a win is not always possible. So I hope that they will be able to channel this into the best way that Indian sport for themselves. I think that they've got the confidence. I think they've got the talent. No, I don't think, I know that they've got the talent, and I think that they are going to rise and rise further. I just hope that they can kind of get that other support along the way, which is not obviously just about the money, to help them navigate what comes ahead. Because we've seen Indian fans. I mean, we shouldn't forget that how fickle Indian fans can be, and the kind of pressure that Indian fans can put on you on any day. And so I think it's a huge moment in Indian sport. It's a huge moment for these cricketers. It's a huge moment for women in sport. It's a huge moment for Indian cricket. And how we leverage it from here is depends on many other stakeholders who will help the team for to transition into this place from where success is more routine than a blip. And I think that's where we are at the moment. We are looking at very, very bright days. A team that's been fantastic, a team that's come together, a bunch of girls who believed in themselves, believed in their game. And I think that is the first mantra for success.
Something very interesting, which is like the mental health of the players, which is going to be. So we have seen that over the past few years, maybe the past decade or so, that sports psychology has come up in a big way in the country. Could you talk about the growth of sports psychology and its impact on Indian sports? And we've seen that in the hockey teams. We've seen that we've seen that in individual sports also, like tennis players going there. And so but this has caught on pretty late in India, whereas it was in international sports, in other countries it caught on much earlier. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm trying. I remember having spoken to Shiva Keshwan, the Winter Olympian, and I think also Abhinav Bindra, and I think both of them were involved with the IOC, and the mental health department, or at least one of them was. And I think the focus was there is the global awareness that this has to go side by side, and I always come back to saying that for Indian women athletes, the need is even more, because we've seen our challenges. We've seen what's happened to the wrestlers. I mean, these are Olympic champions who've had to literally beg on the streets. So the tide can turn anytime. If it doesn't meet the kind of answers, or you step out of certain boundaries, because there are boundaries and there will always be boundaries. You speak within those, you play within those, you perform within those. So for them to step out, it takes an enormous amount of guts, and very, very few people. I mean, we saw that even for the wrestlers, it was Mary Kom who was handling the committee, but we saw her reaction. So it's a tough place to be an Indian women athlete. For them, I think this is absolutely important. I mean, for Jemimah to say that she cried every day of the tournament, she played with anxiety. And yet she delivered, and yet she was questioned. She was questioned for speaking up. She was questioned for, saying thank you to, in her faith. And so all kind of questions continue to hound them. So I think it is, we are late to the game, but I hope we've understood the importance of how modern sport cannot move without this. And it is the demand, the sport is demanding at the highest level. It is so demanding. And to nurture the women, this is something that has to go along with them. I think there are no two ways for a woman athlete to bloom in our country. You have to have access to good therapists, good counselors. You have to have, it's the same as your physical conditioning, your mental conditioning. That there are two aspects and two sides of the coin.
Ridhima, we were talking about the
Yeah.
importance of sports psychology. Your take on that? Like, we were saying that, like, it's come up in the last 10 years or so in this country, whereas in other countries, it took a much earlier start. So
Early start.
better late than never. But we're talking about how important is that right now, and how important is that in sports, particularly in women's sports.
I'll answer that question, but before that, I'll address that one question that you asked where I dropped off is the fact that we had 3 back-to-back losses, and then how did we go on to win the World Cup?
Yeah.
The answer to that was Amol Muzumdar and Harmanpreet Kaur. Amol Muzumdar and Harmanpreet Kaur, before the World Cup started, they knew exactly what was at stake. And they knew exactly if they go back empty-handed, the repercussions of this on women's cricket in general is going to be huge. So that belief system was seeded very much earlier before this World Cup started. So in fact, I would say that the 3 back-to-back losses, that setback was so bad that the comeback had to be stronger. So that's the reason why I thought the two brains behind curating the Sport World Cup has to be Amol Muzumdar, Harmanpreet Kaur, and also the senior members of that squad, which is Jemima Roberts, Deepti Sharma. Deepti Sharma, such a crucial role she's played throughout the tournament. So the senior members, the experience that they brought on the table, that propelled this comeback. And Jemima Roberts and Smriti Manna. But two names that I would take will be Amol Muzumdar and Harmanpreet Kaur. Coming to the question about sports psychology, see, when I started broadcasting, which was about 10 years back, there was a statement that was made to me by one of my producers, which said that Ridhima, India is not a sports loving nation, we are a cricket loving nation. Over the 10 years, I have seen the progress and the change in this statement, very slow, but it is happening. One of the benefits of that change, the fact that India is slowly turning into a sports loving nation where, a country is waking up at 4 a.m. in 2021 to watch Aditi Ashok play golf. We also get up to watch our women's hockey team. When they came fourth in 2021, there was immense support around there. Then women's cricket, especially with the start of WPL, ye to women's ki baat ho gayi. But the fact that there was so much viewership even on the Paris Olympics, not just because Neeraj Chopra had won a gold and he came back with a silver, but the fact that India was extremely rooted in for Lakshya Sen, you name it. So Mirabai Chanu in 2021, even in 2024. So we are slowly becoming a sports loving nation. I would still say the progress is very slow. But the thing is that one thing that has happened because of this, because India is progressing in that direction, the other careers around sports have also found freight. So sports physiotherapy, sports psychology, and there are a lot of other domains that come in sports because the nutrition for an athlete versus a common man is very different. Even that has come into freight. So I'd say that sports psychology is finding its ground, but the progress is very slow. Having said that, in sports like cricket, even in women's cricket, it is being given a lot of importance. Paddy Upton, who was also now with the hockey team in 2024, has been an integral part. But I would like to see more Indian faces doing the same.
I have to say that, Ridhima, I would agree with whoever told you that we're a cricket loving nation. I think that we are still very far from a sports loving nation. We are very in love with a victory, sport victory nation. You got to win, and we'll all celebrate. You win a medal in Olympics, we'll celebrate. The moment you drop out, we drop out. That's the psychology of the Indian fan. We are a very fickle sport loving nation. We're not there that in good times and bad times nahi hai hum. In good times mein hai. You're going to come, okay, we've reached the finals, we are all going to come together to watch. Okay, Lakshya Sen is almost there, we are going to come to, Neeraj Chopra is, okay, he's on a different bandwidth, so he's a bit different. But unfortunately, I think we are still very far from that sporting culture that that we should have had by now. Or I find that हर 4 साल में आते हैं हम ओलंपिक्स के लिए. उससे पहले हम 4 साल में गायब हो जाते हैं. We just come sporadically out of our holes. If there's a win, yes, great. We are all going to celebrate, and then we go back into that hole. We are going to, Deepika Kumari is not going to do well. We are going to trash her. We're going to trash her. We're going to trash her. We'll disappear again. So, unfortunately, we are very fair weather people when it comes to sports still.
I agree with you. But what I'm saying is that the progress is there. The progress is slow, very slow. That I agree with you with the fact that we are a hero worshipping nation. I agree with you with the fact that we come up to we become an audience for a certain sport if that sport is winning. But remember in kabaddi you have a huge audience. So kabaddi is also an indigenous sport where we're giving a lot of attention. There's so much money invested there. There is so much audience. Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, the stadiums are filled. It is so we are
Because it's only your love sport. Because it's a tier 2 sport.
It's a massive sport, 100%. 100%. But that is where our audience is. That is where our audience is. That is where we have to hold, we have to grip. 100%. Even in fact, even Gukesh won this time. Then people are suddenly chess has become the sport that but the thing is that whatever is becoming the catalyst, whatever is the route, I'm not saying the route is right or wrong, but the fact that these things are happening, it is a sign of the fact, it is a sign, it is a good sign that India is slowly progressing to becoming a sports loving nation. चाहे वो विन की वजह से हो या ना हो, बट ये स्टेटमेंट इतना गलत नहीं है कि आप ये बोल ना सकें कि भारत जो एक धीरे धीरे एक स्पोर्ट लविंग नेशन बनता जा रहा है. This statement might not be wrong.
I'm not so sure. I'm not. And that's yours because in my opinion, there's still that system that needs to be fought every single time for every athlete. You can have certain parents who are going to fund your child, maybe in chess or maybe in shooting. But at the mass level, you still have a system that you have to fight. You still have to fight those federations. You still have to, bow down to those federations and the politicians who are running those a majority of the federations. And I think till that political intervention continues, I am not sure that we can ever say that this, and I think that kind of stalls us from being a sports nation. I'm not going to say sports loving nation or a sports centric nation. I'm just going to say that's stalling us from being a sports nation, a sporting nation.
I agree with that too. That could be the cause of our progress being this slow. But all I'm saying is the progress is there. That's all I'm saying. That could be a major reason why the progress is slow. I'm with you on that.
The progress is definitely there. I mean, we talked about we talked about pay parity, we talked about promotion of the sport, but we're also talking about, let's say, I'm very glad you talked about, government intervention, negative government intervention in the sense that we saw what happened with our wrestlers and how, their protest, how that was treated. So where do we draw the line here? I mean, how much we need the sports needs government support, but that doesn't mean the government can control that. So the entire, the support doesn't mean control. And where do we stand here? And how important is it to separate government control from government support? Because we saw what happened with Brij Bhushan, and we saw what happened with the Indian wrestlers, and that was that was a shame for the entire nation. And yet there are those who will say that it's because of government that support that the athletes and the Indian cricket team has achieved what it has. We have achieved our golds and silvers and bronzes because of the government push, but that doesn't give them the right to control it. You give them support, you give them whatever is necessary, build the infrastructure, but don't control the federation. Let that be run by professionals. What do you have to say to that?
It's true because there was a fitness and a wellness conclave that just happened, and this topic had come up because the ministry was extremely interested as to how do we grow India's fitness and wellness economy. One of the things that the athlete mentioned, very, very famous athlete, very famous cricketer, and he mentioned that, sir, it is very important that the government does not interfere in sports. because that has become a huge hindrance. So the people who are running sports federation should be people who've played sports before, and which is very true. That is 100% truth, is because it is like saying that someone who's given 20 years in media suddenly comes on to start an AI consultancy. It is literally that different. So someone who's played sports has gone through the struggles of an athlete, of where are the missing claws, will be in a better position to make a difference than someone who's not been in the system and gone through those struggles. I agree.
And yet, you see people like Beckham Bhutia who stood for elections lose, and that is the reality. And I just want to add one thing here, that the importance of the win for the women cricketers here also comes in a sense. It kind of somewhere takes away the negativity, not the negativity, but that sad episode of the wrestlers, because women families would have looked at those girls, the way they were treated, and told their girls that if this is how women athletes are being treated in the country, we rather that you don't get into sport.
Yeah.
So I think that has somewhere been balanced, I hope, by the win by the cricketers, by the girls in blue, to bring these families back into the fold, saying, okay, maybe we can consider it one more time and allow our girls to get out. Because what happened with the wrestlers would have been very, very damaging in homes where girls wanted to step out, and families would have said, if this is the answer and if these are the repercussions, then we'd rather that you don't. So I hope that this would also once again open minds and hearts in our in our homes, in tier 2 towns and in rural India, and say, okay, you're a girl, go out, it's okay.
But it's still something. The wrestling scandal is still something that's so recent that we're still smarting from it, and this should be
It's
one of
politics.
the yeah.
At the end of the day, sorry, it's what I say. The politics is ruined Indian sport. Politics stalls Indian sport at every level. You have to conform to these federations. You have to be a yes man, yes woman, and they have their favorites, or and the allegations by the wrestlers are very, very serious. And what is to say? And these are, I mean, we've had that coach who was removed in Punjab by, I think, a former hockey player who was a minister in Punjab. He had a coach removed for allegations of abuse, sexual abuse. There are many, many cases that we don't hear about. These are the only ones that we've heard about. And that is also the reality of India at the district level, at the ground level of sport. How can we clean that up? That is the only way we will become a sporting nation. Otherwise, we are only going to come up in, hits and misses. Maybe cricket, maybe women's cricket will find the same path as men's cricket, where success now is an intrinsic part of our cricket for men. And if that is, then again, the answer would be that Indian cricket again will be, women cricket will again be different from the rest of women in other sports. Only time will tell. But till we clean up our sports, I think we can't really say that we're giving women or the girls in this country what they deserve when it comes to sports.
Perhaps the first step towards cleaning it up, because the only reason why we heard about the wrestling scandal is because they were Olympians and gold medalists and superstars. I mean, like you said, there is so much happening at the district level that we are not even aware of.
But imagine if an Olympic champion has to come and beg.
Yeah.
So imagine the anonymous girl out there who wants to go out and become a wrestler, a boxer, a player, a tennis player, any sport. Now imagine what happens there. This is the sad reality of politics in Indian sport, and and the grip that it has, that politics will always win over Indian sport.
Yeah, it still continues to, but it's a very dark future if that's the way it remains, for both sports and for politics, in the sense that, and for the country for that matter. Tell me one thing, when we are talking about district level infrastructure. I want to know, is there proper infrastructure development at the district level, at the at the ground level, at the small town level, for kids to come up, for girls to come up in their chosen sport? Or do they have to come to the main cities? Do they have to come to Kolkata to join academies, or Bombay to join academies? Is there some kind of a move to
I
do
think Ridhima may know better, but I think it's a mixed bag. I know people like Abhinav Bindra are doing a lot at the ground level. They are opening up academies, or they're trying to work at the smallest starting level for girls and for young athletes or people who are looking to get into. But it needs a systemic change at that level. I mean, it's small cities and towns. There's tournaments happen, there's age fudging, all that is again another aspect of Indian sport that continues to happen. So corporates, I think, have done an enormous help to Indian sport by coming in and by taking over, and having these private institutions private organizations that have taken up athletes and sponsored them. I think for us, that is the future. And that will continue to be, it will be individual men, it will be former athletes who will give back to sport, and it will be corporates, because the lure of power when it comes to politicians to owning federations is never going to diminish. And I think that is going to be very, very difficult to change. I can't remember, I think it was the last Olympics, and I remember watching something, and all I watched, I think it was shooting, and I was seeing the people in the sports, and they were all politicians, who'd come on a junket to watch, and that's how it is. That they're there in the sport, they've never played the sport, but the power that they hold is huge. It gives a huge. I mean, Brij Charan Singh had the power. It's not him, then it's his son now. So, but it's a family thing that's still running. Wrestling, you're literally forcing out people from a sport, people who've hit the pinnacle, and comes back to the conditioning of that society. That same society who lauded the Olympic medal went and abused these same women. So much changes, but much still needs to change.
I think
Yes.
there's a lot, especially in terms of infrastructure. I think a lot can be done. And when you spoke about Mumbai, even though we have the infrastructure in many places, I would say it's not maintained. For that matter, Wankhede Stadium itself. I mean, if you go to the washrooms, the condition of the seats, everything. And I would say even if infrastructure is there, the maintenance is not there. So we're actually quite far behind when it comes to sports infrastructure and the maintenance of sports infrastructure.
So that's one area that needs to be seriously looked into.
That
If we has to
is
promote,
seriously considered.
And if I can add just one line to it on a slightly separate note, it's also for our, the athletes who play para sports, and the kind of infrastructure. We'll have the Olympics and we'll have the Paralympics. We're going to applaud these athletes who win, but the kind of infrastructure that they've given, or the lack of infrastructure that they have, no access to athletes who are on wheelchairs. I think that's another story, and I think that's another conversation. But I just wanted to bring that one line out as well, that that needs attention as well.
Well, this wonderful conversation I have had with you and Ridhima, one thing that I like to point out is that the main topic of discussion, the burning topic in the gentleman's game today, happened to be ladies. So deal with it, gentlemen. I mean, that's the way things ought to be, and the way things should be heading, hopefully.
I think deal with it is a great statement.
Thank you so much, Ridhima. Thank you so much, Josna.